Thank you. The next one I'd like to speak to you about is actually going to be a murder arrest. Yesterday, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrested Reginald Lewis Smith, a 24-year-old male, for the murder of Ronnie Washington, which took place on August 3rd, 2013. And that murder took place at 3102 Nolan Street. This is actually the second arrest in this case. The first arrest, Artez Ingram, a 25-year-old male, was actually arrested for the murder. And this murder actually took place because of a drug dispute, which led to an argument, which led to disrespectful behavior from both the victim and the suspect. Throughout the course of the day, there was actually some fistfights that actually had taken place, and Smith's involvement in this murder, his role at the last fistfight was basically to point a handgun at other, because every time they were having a fight, you had other members of both sides, other friends, family, kind of getting involved in the fistfight as well. And Smith's involvement was basically to hold the others, or hold the victim's family, friends back at gunpoint. It should be noted in this case that the victim had actually apologized and actually was running away from the scene when he was shot and killed from Ingram. This case, it's taken a little time, but it's solved. I want to thank Detective Karen Dukes for her work, and also the members of the community. The community in this case actually stepped up and told us what happened in this case, which actually led to the arrest of this individual. Any questions about this?
You said it was taking a little bit of time. Can you just talk to me about why this particular case took that extra amount?
Well, actually with this case, you know, we do have other investigations that do take a more extended period of time to actually solve. But with this case, the Reginald Smith, we actually couldn't find him. And we just recently found him and brought him in. He did not, he admitted to being there, but he did not confess to any of his actions at the scene.
Did you find him in Jacksonville or somewhere else?
In Jacksonville. Yes.
Ingram was the shooter.
That's correct.
The original was just he held people at bay and.
Yeah, basically, he to break it down in simplistic terms, basically he held them back, pretty much, which gave Ingram a clear opportunity to shoot and kill the victim.
So that's why he's charged with murder.
Yeah, he's charged with murder. He's also charged with aggravated assault. We just felt that the circumstances and his involvement in this were that serious that he was charged with murder.
Murder too. Okay.
And you said he was walking away and had apologized for whatever it is when.
That's correct. The victim actually had apologized when actually he was running away at the time that he was gunned down. The incident actually, the actual fight and everything was actually, I believe, around the 3000 block right at the corner. And the actual murder when he was killed was about 3102 Nolan Street.
Have you guys been looking into any gang activity as far as this is?
We checked this. None of these members are involved in any gangs or anything at all.
Any other questions?
You talked about, thanking the community. Mm-hmm. How big of a role did they play? I know, how specific can you get as far as the role the community played in helping?
To me, it's a huge help. It's a very important to the investigation that they actually come forward and tell us what happened. I mean, sometimes we go out there and we don't always get the full story. And in this particular case, the members of the community actually did tell us everything that happened, which actually led to the identification of both these suspects. So without their help, it's a big deal.
Did they tell you where he was when you were able to find him finally? Is that how you were able to find him in Jacksonville?
I don't know the specifics of as far as how we were able to find him. I know he was found in Jacksonville, but as far as if somebody turned him in or anything, I don't have that answer.
Did this guy, has he ever been a threat to the people that he was holding at bay previously?
I think on this particular day when it was happening, there was pretty much fistfights leading up to this. I believe this was the first time they'd actually brandished a gun and had held people at bay while the victim was shot.
But he didn't actually shoot anybody.
He did not.
He just was there.
Held people back.
That's correct.
Do you know how many times there were fights? I mean, did they come to a neighborhood and fight, leave?
I don't have.
Or how did that work?
No, it was pretty much all right there. As I mentioned earlier, it pretty much began as a drug dispute, an argument over drugs,
okay.
Which led to, I guess, the way I would describe it would be disrespectful behavior on both sides, okay. And that kind of led to a couple of fistfights. I don't know the exact number of fights that happened.
But this was in one time period. This wasn't what didn't happen like at 9 in the morning and then at 11 and then it wasn't.
No, it was
all as a continuous.
It was a continuous thing throughout the day.
Just
so.
All right. Thank you, Chief.
All right. Thank you.